chocolate question. Um, Lil Birdie told me that, Donald Trump was the best president of all time. Yeah, look at this. Loud, right? I want to say good evening, everybody. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to Singly Gay Podcast here live. Oh my God, I actually did something right this time because I've been trying to figure this out for a very, 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 very long while. Tonight's topic is about toxic cycles in the Black community. And I want to introduce, I'm going to change things up here. I know I normally say guests, but because of like people are comfortable with Judies and stuff, so I wanted to feel more family based. I invited another good close Judiee here tonight, Mr. Mark Myrthil. I hope I said that right. Thank you for coming in doing this with us.
It's a pleasure to be here.
I feel like it took forever to get you here.
I just, man, life happens, but good thing I'm here.
Right, because even though the pandemic kind of slowed us down, everybody still stayed busy, had things to do, and was just trying to figure out how to keep the money flowing.
Definitely. It's been, just maintaining, making it through.
I mean, well, you got to make it through. Like, I feel like if you didn't, kind of like missing out, but I get it. People have their down days, they have their up days.
Yeah.
So let's get into this, to this whole thing. Yes. So everybody that's joining, I hope people are joining in. I probably should pay attention to it from my Facebook on my phone just to see. But if anybody just joining in on the live, we're just seeing or whatever. Like I said, we're talking about the topic at hand tonight is about toxic cycles in the Black community. And, I know in the Black community, we go through a lot, we experience a lot. I think with it, sometimes we don't understand where those things kind of stem from. I know some people's judgment is like through church or like their family members and stuff like that. Like, where do you think like it just originated or it rooted itself to, especially certain things and upbringings to come off a little bit toxic within the community itself?
Definitely. I'm sorry. I don't know if the last part cut out, but it sounded like you were still talking, and then it's like you cut off. So
oh no,
because if you said something, I didn't get it.
no. So that's what I was saying. Like, so within the Black community, they say things are, toxic.
Yeah.
Like, where did it stem from? Like, how do you think it started with certain things that was like, taught to us or a part of our upbringing, and we come to find out years later that certain things that probably wasn't like the best thing?
Honestly, I mean, we can't deny that a lot of it stems from slavery. Like, so when you have a group of people that were abused and done what has been done to us, for 400 years, things tend to stick. When you are growing up in an environment like that, you don't learn to thrive. It's survival. So basically, whatever can get you to the next day alive and well, that's what you do. And a lot of those things stuck with us, being strong-minded, AKA ignoring mental health and just kind of, chugging through. Or just like, the tough love, as opposed to speaking it out. There's a lot of, abuse that goes on. I mean, sometimes, you need a little tap, to get the point across, but they sometimes circumvent the whole speaking and just like go straight to the hitting. It's like, that's not really, where the lessons are learned, So, things like that I feel like tend to stem from way back in slavery times. And like, it's just hard to shake when you have a whole race of people, a select group of the race, because obviously not everybody who's Black was affected by it, but You get what I'm saying? More so than America.
No, most definitely, because some of those things, like I said, for us, it's this is like our core values. This is what I was taught. This what was told to me. Like I feel like even with like the cliches of things of like, well, it's a sin to be gay or whatever, and God is not gonna love me for it or whatever, or just me living this type of lifestyle. Like, do you think that like some of those things that mess with the Black people, like our mental health literally kind of stems from with white men America and what they was trying to make it, what they was trying to create within that?
I think what it is in terms of, are we talking specifically about like religion and homosexuality right now?
Yeah, and white people, yes.
Okay, so first I want to say, religion was the religion that we have today was given to us by the white people. So, that alone explains itself. But to elaborate, we were given a Bible that was meant to keep us in basically in chains mentally, because if you think about it, it's very the Bible teaches you to be very submissive, like regardless of what the master is doing, still do it, because they have the authority, and you'll get your reward in the afterlife and all this other stuff, whatever. And I feel like that was their way of keeping us under control. They're like, oh no, you're doing God's work, just listen to us. You feel me? Like, nah. So things like that and the things that came with it, I feel, were pushed. Obviously, there was an agenda. Now, which is weird, because if you look back, right, and like, let's say Greek times, right? Well, the white man, like Greco-Roman wrestling. It was, if I'm not mistaken, basically at the end of it, like basically whoever lost would be, what's now called the bottom, and whoever won would be the top. But that was back then. It was just a form of dominance. It's like, okay, I beat you, now I take you. Whereas I feel like when it came to a point where they can start to control a group of people with it, they flipped the script. And for some reason, it's like only within the realm of what they do is okay, but anybody else, is castigated. So, for example, like, there wasn't really a problem with. I feel like it wasn't a problem until I feel like we tried to make it, bring it to the light. I feel like it was okay in the dark. It was okay. It was taboo. It was okay not to be talked about. But I feel like when it came to people like, us wanting, because like, I feel like we're just different. Like Black people, period, are just different as a whole, and unique in a good way. And I feel like, right now, for example, I'm in a set of Kiki season 2. Like, if you hear the background, like Ballroom, for example, like that was started by black gay people, and when we try to break out, of the taboo, break into the light, they were like, oh no, chill out, like God don't like that. It's like, oh, God didn't like it. God didn't like it. You feel me? Or is it because now that we want to, make it our own thing and bring it to the light and embrace it, you guys want to try to shut that down? And we do have our allies, whatever, like, the other white LGBT members, whatever, but it's not enough power to, I feel, to make fast enough of a change. It's enough to make a change, but not fast enough. And there's still a lot of work to be done.
Yeah. I mean, because you would think like what, like it's 2021 now. So like a lot of things that, like you said, like Ballroom, that was like very underground and hidden. It was like, because it was hidden, it was okay. Yeah. So like now we're in an era where everybody like, this is what it is, like it or love it, whatever. Like, do you think that because we are bringing it to the front and just kind of just putting it out there, not really like shoving it in people's faces, but like just putting it out there, let it know like it's here, it's not going nowhere, it's been around. So like, this is something that needs to be seen, right? So because it needs to be seen, why does certain things just make people feel so uncomfortable about it? Like, is it because it's not like family oriented, it ain't straight oriented, like it's not for kids? Like, I just like, what is it?
I think I have a theory on that, actually. And I think what it is shame, being ashamed. For example, like, we all have our urges, and obviously, like not every time you can, get those urges satisfied by another person. So you gotta do yourself, right?
Right.
Inherently, doing yourself is not a bad thing. Now, if somebody, yo, I'm gonna start recording you do it, you might feel a little differently about doing thing. So I feel like with the whole homosexuality, it was cool when people were able to do it in the privacy of their homes or whatever the case is, like in the dark. But the second somebody tried to put light on it and bring it to the world, they're like, oh no, you about to expose me. Like they shut that shit down immediately. Because how many so we know, we're not naive. We know that there's, escorting is, pretty prominent in the in the LGBT community. Right. And I've never been an escort, but I would err on the side saying 80% of the customers are white men, rich white men. Right. So why is that? Why is it that they're so willing to pay and do this stuff, in the dark, but yet when it comes to the light, they want to, they want to shun it. They want to put it to the background. They want to say it's ungodly, but yet they're the main ones
that's doing it,
who are funding it.
I mean, I just, like I said, I would never know. Like, it's just like, I don't understand it, because I feel like if you are a person that lives in your authentic truth and whatever that is, or whatever you're doing, like, why does it matter to other people? You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like you should just, not saying you got to tell all of your business, but whatever yours is yours. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just think that, we are in a times where people just feel like if it's not the normalcy of things to do, then it's like, that's weird, or it's not godly. So I'm going to just deem that as you're going to hell, So it's just like, but how can you do that? How can you just speak that over to my life? That's how I'm like, especially with with the Black community, because we want to move forward. We want to see so much change. We want to do all of this, but in the same time, we want to keep suppressing our own people. Like, how you can't do one of the, like, both. You have to do one or the other. So it's just like, either we are going to hold hands and march forward so we can be as one to move things forward together, or we just going to keep having this constant battle with one another, because all of a sudden you don't like me because you don't feel like I'm masculine or straight enough for you, and because I'm gay. And then on top of that, now I can't not like you because you straight. But when like a race situation happened, now we got to stand together as brother and sister. But you just like, you tried to hurt me for being gay, and I need to be by your side because all of these different things are happening to the Black community and Black people and stuff. Like, because we just hard on ourselves. So it's just like, why can't we just stay united like any other race, but only want to be, united for like maybe 15-30 minutes of fame, of showing how Black people is coming together to rally around, like, to stop killing Black folks and all of this and trying to get ahead of the white man. And then when it fizzles out, nobody is still doing the work. Nobody's saying, like, you don't hear anything. You just hear silence.
Again, I honestly feel like it stems back to, it goes back in history, because if you think about it, right, what other race in the recent history has gone through what Black people have gone through in the past 500 years? You know what I'm saying? So people like, all the time want to, like, I say another group of people that want to kind of have a battle of who had it worst. I sometimes feel like, not all, but I sometimes feel like Jewish people. They're like, okay, well, you guys had slavery, but we had the Holocaust. Okay, the Holocaust was what, less than a decade? Mm-hmm. And 400 years. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference, like you can kind of work that out your system. You know what I'm saying? Like, even right now, like this, in Germany, whatever, it's like taboo to talk about the Holocaust because they're ashamed of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's something that happened. It wasn't a long time. It was a devastating moment in history, but it was a long time. So they were kind of able to shake that from their history. But when it comes to 400 years, you're talking about hundreds of generations of people who have gone through systematic, racism, abuse, and all this other stuff, whatever. So, when it comes to like having to change that from our mentality, it's going to take a lot longer than most, And if you think about it, we've only really been free for less than 100 years. And like 100 years ago, 1921, were we drinking at the same fountains? Did we have the same respect? I think we were still 1/4 a person, if I'm not mistaken. You know what I'm saying? That's 100 years ago. So we've had our freedom for less than 100 years, right? And we have to overcome what happened 400 years ago. You know what I'm saying? For 400 years. So I think it's a tougher battle. But what needs to happen in our community is a lot of dialogue and a lot of healing. Because if you think about it, like, because it's been so recent, less than 100 years, we're being raised by like the generation after the generation of like the end of slavery. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So like they haven't fully worked it out their system. So a lot of that they inadvertently pass down to us. But how many people like I'm not on the back end of being a millennial. You know, like I know millennials are from like 84 to like 94 or something like that, right? So like I personally have kids, and I'm making the connection between what happened to me, the beatings and, you know, the no respect and no talking, whatever, like, you know, the ignorance to mental health and all that, whatever. I'm taking the things that happened to me and trying to do better with my kids. Now, I feel like this is the change that is happening. Like, I don't go straight to hitting. I talk to my kids, and then, you know, if all else fails, then I got to give pop-pows, whatever. But I feel like with that dialogue, with that change, and over time, like I truly believe that a lot of this toxic cycles like that we have in our community will hopefully work itself out because of, you know, this new generation. And I do give credit to these Gen Z and these Gen Xers, and I people make fun of them by calling them soft because they're expressing their emotion now, whereas before it's, you know, oh, fuck all that, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're just gonna, you know, handle it how it is. I appreciate them in the sense that they're not caring about the things that used to hinder us from going forward. And they're just like, no, we're going to speak our mind. We're going to feel how we feel. I have feelings. I'm going to say what I'm going to say. If I don't like it, we're going to protest. Like, you know, there's not a lot of fear. Gen Z and Gen Xers have a lot of balls. I'll say that. They have a lot of balls. And people make fun of them by saying, oh, you know, y'all are emotional. Back in my day, we wouldn't be crying about shit like that, whatever. But like, it's funny because I'll laugh at shit like that. But then when you really think about it, it's like, what are we really doing? Are we, you know, are we praising this, like this, you know, lack of emotion? Are we praising this ignorance to mental health, whatever? Because like being Caribbean, so being religious, Caribbean and Black, you feel me? Like growing up,
a lot going on.
It was gauntlet. So growing up and you know, having these emotions, like I have anxiety and depression, so having these emotions, having these thoughts, then trying to go to my parents, like, hey, I'm sad and I don't know why. They'd be like, sad? Like you have nothing to be sad about. Toughen up. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's not gonna make me feel better. Oh, toughen up. Oh, all right, hold on. Let me wipe the tears from my eye. I'm better now. You know what I'm saying? So right. That realization and that addressing the issue and handling head on, which I applaud the millennials, the Gen Zers, the Gen Xers for doing, where our, you know, baby boomer parents didn't do, or didn't have the opportunity to do. Like, I don't want to put full blame on them because, like I said, they were coming from, you know, look who their parents were. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
My great grandfather was a slave. You feel me? Like, right. It's that close. So I just feel like I said, like, dialogue. Actual dialogue, the baby boomers need to listen to the younger generation, not like, oh, well, you know, you're young, I have my wisdom, you know, like whatever, you know, I've been through it all. Like, no, you've been through what you've been through. You've been through what you've been through in your era. Times have changed, and we're going through what we're going through now. So we need to work together instead of trying to, you know, try to have a pissing contest and come together and heal as a community, as opposed to what's going on right now, I feel. And it's a lot of separation.
Like, so do you, like, you know, I know back then, like, they used to do, like, you know, like, as they call it, like, lockdowns or, like, city halls, so to speak. Do you think, like, getting the different generations in one room to actually kind of listen and hear each other out and to try to figure out a way to coexist and, like I said, to come together, because it seemed like it's very hard. And I think also, now that you said it, I think a generational gap does play in that. But in the same token of just like knowing how can we move forward and just be respectable across the board with one another for whoever what lives their life, what or how they do certain things. Like, do you think those type of things may need to happen? Like, we need to do a lockdown and like be in one room and be like, hey, let's figure something out. Let's listen to one another. Like, let's make this make sense.
So we're saying this, you know, would it help if the conversation were to be had, you know, between the younger generation and the older generation? And right. I do feel, yes, it would help. I do also, however, feel that conversation should start at home. And the reason being is because, you know, where do we get our first experiences with life? You know, where do we start to build our personality and, you know, our interactions with people? in the home with your cousins, your aunts, your uncles. Like those are your first interactions with people, intimate interactions.
Exactly.
So having that conversation at home, I feel like is a definite must. And any of those, young parents now, anybody who's in my generation, millennials, like don't break the cycle. For me, don't bring over those toxic traits that are toxic, that were used on you. Just try to break that cycle with your kids. Like that's what we should start. So at least the next generation is better equipped to deal with this shit that we are sometimes ignorant to. But
and that's
yes,
true.
I do feel like that conversation should be had, in the barber shops, at school, where, in the churches. Like I do feel like this conversation needs to be had because it's something that affects everybody's daily life. And
Yeah, no, I think it does too. Like I feel like it's just something that should have been had like already. You would think that would have been had already, right? But it's just like somebody has to start it. It has to start from somewhere. It has to.
Definitely. And like I told you, like I am giving credit to where credit's due, and I do feel like this newer generation is actually starting to start off on a good foot. Although some of the old school people, like I said, like we still make fun of them, like, oh, there's this soft generation, this and that. They take things.
Mm-hmm.
I think where we were the toxic ones, where we kind of were just like, oh, now like ignore it, fight through it, and just bury it. Where they're like, no, like this makes me feel some type of way. I'm gonna go get help for this, so this doesn't manifest in any type of way later on. And I feel like that's, especially in the Black community, mental health and having that be addressed is one of the first things that we need to do.
Yeah, no, we definitely need to do, especially when like even though like certain people in the Black community are making it aware and saying that it's okay, because at first it used to be like, y'all need to go see no therapist. I don't want nobody knowing all our business and all. You want to go and pay a stranger to tell them what we got going on. It's just like, how else am I supposed to release certain things? Like, how else am I supposed to talk about it? Because if I have a parent that you may not want to listen, or you don't have, like, you just may not be interested in what's going on with me. So why not me seek help to say, hey, let me go talk to somebody to just make sure that whatever I'm feeling and what I'm dealing with is not too crazy or not too far-fetched out of the box. So it's just like, why not? Why not go and just do that and get the help? Even though they still think that, certain Black people in the community think that talk to a therapist is seem too much because they don't want you telling all their business, and you telling their business. It seems like, as our parents would say, you telling our business to the streets.
I definitely.
It's just like, I don't know. I think if we're moving in the right direction, yes, but I just think that if it can get to the point where it's more open and it can be more discussed, and we're not looking at it as a hindrance type of situation, because we, like I said, us as a people, we talk about, we want to grow and have the growth and move forward for change, and want to see certain things shift in a way that people probably thought that it was very impossible to shift into. But it's just like, well, make the impossible possible. Like, why can't we just not do that?
Yeah. I mean, one thing I also wanted to add is what's big in the Black community is, it's towards the whole homosexuality thing, is, like I told you, that religion the white man gave us. It's crazy how we hate everything about slavery but the religion. Like, why is it that's the one thing that we kept, our one keepsake? You know what I'm saying? And it's that religion that makes us act, or makes us say, or do some of the things that we do. It's like, oh, no child of mine will be, doing this stuff, whatever. Like, that's just the devil. Like, how you gonna tell somebody that what is in their heart? You feel me? Like, they love who they love. You feel me? What's in their heart is the devil. Like, that would fuck me up if I was a kid. Like, to tell me that me just being me is the devil. Like, so how can I get right? You know what I'm saying? So I definitely feel like religion is definitely something that we need to get a grasp on, because I feel like, and I don't want to offend anybody who's religious. You feel me?
Yeah.
But I want some of the religious people, like, you have a God, right? Think about it. You have a God that is so loving, right? all loving, all forgiving, and all this stuff, whatever. So why would he allow, somebody to feel a certain way about a certain person, but then, be mad at them for like, oh, like I allow you to like who you like, but then I'm gonna send you help because I allowed you to do that. Like, why you put me? Why you set me up for failure? You feel me? And like, if you're all loving and all forgiving and all knowing, you should understand that this is not a choice. I'll repeat, this is not a choice. Say it 3 times. This is not a choice.
You might want to say it again for the people way, way, way in the back of the seat.
It's not a choice.
Okay.
So for a loving God, so even for a loving parent, if you're a loving parent, let's say your kid had Down syndrome or something like that, something they can't control, right?
Right.
Are you not acting
normal, as they say?
Right? Normal? No, you're gonna be like, oh, like they need help. I'm like, I have to put them in a different category. I can't treat them the same. So why not? Why doesn't the same go for those who are, in the LGBT community? Why is it that like, oh, y'all can choose it? It's like you don't tell somebody who has Down syndrome, like, oh, you don't need to do that. Why, how you missing a chromosome? Get that shit back. You feel me? Like, no,
that part.
It's not something that you choose. And once people realize that, I feel like a deeper conversation can be had because. And ignorance is another thing. People think that people really, truly, to this day, as much time as it's been around and as much conversations have been had, people still to this day think this thing is a choice. Like you can choose to turn it on and off like a light switch. And I've told straight people before, like, okay, well, if you think your sexuality is a choice, could you? That means that you have the potential to, be attracted to the same sex, right? And then they'll be. Like, why is that? If it's a choice, so you're choosing to like the opposite sex. If it's a choice, you know what I'm saying?
If it's a choice, it shouldn't be nothing wrong with going to sleep with the same sex and going back to your girlfriend. Like,
they'll say there's a problem with it, but we both know that there's people who do that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to put it on blast, but we digress.
I
ain't trying to get on over you, but people need to understand that this is something that, and if you really want to, put some sauce in it, like if you want to point the finger at anybody, it's God's fault. Who made us?
I mean, and I get that, but I was like, for me, I wouldn't, like you said, if he's the creator, the Almighty, and if it's somebody that he loves so much to do this to create us, then why would it be where he condemns us all of a sudden and we can't do this and that? And I don't think it's necessarily him. I just think whoever added their little spiel on in the Bible, whoever wrote the rest, because the testaments I've read from back in the day, like I didn't see him say that. I didn't, and
I honestly don't think that he influenced. So the God that I believe in, or the God that I feel, I don't believe had any influence on the Bible that we read today. Like not even a word. It's like that was man's interpretation, and they propaganda. It's like this is how we want shit to be run, and they basically burned everything else. It's like, oh, well, sorry, well, you need a religion, we got one for you.
Like talk about somehow take this one. What you mean take this one? I don't know what that's like telling me to the red pill or the blue pill, and I'm looking at you like,
take the red or the blue, but then you crush up the red. Like, so what choice do I really have?
That part, like come on, like it just can't happen like that. It was something I was about to say, and I think I lost my train of thought because we was talking about stuff with the straight people was saying that if sexuality was a choice, then why don't they go and mess with the opposite sex and see what happened? But I just think that that's what I was about to say. I found it. So the reason being, I was just like, because if these conversations were had and like Black people just open themselves to having different multiple conversations, especially when it comes to like the LGBTQA plus community and stuff like that. Like we wouldn't have so many DL men with wives with kids and they still messing around with the same sex. Like we wouldn't have so many men like, oh, I couldn't be with a guy or this and that because of, my religious belief and my background. So even though I mess around with men, I had to make sure that I had a wife. And I guess because I know a couple of them, I'm not gonna put nobody on blast. Well, not even a couple. I know a plethora. Say you will. I know a plethora of them. And it's none of my business. It's your prerogative. The way I move like I said. I feel like I am an honest and transparent person when I'm with someone, or if I get involved with somebody. I just want the men to be the same way with the women you get with, because don't get with them and just make it seem like you've been this certain type of person all your life and you haven't. And
Yeah.
like I say that because like I said, I go on my social media and I see like, even when you young, you experiment doing stuff. I'm like, dudes I used to like mess with back in the day, and I just be on their social media like, oh yeah, kids, got a girlfriend, got a wife. That's what's up. Mm, So, sorry for them kids and that lady. Yet
All right.
again, I'm not judging, but if you lived a life and you did certain things, I'd rather that be communicated. Even if you communicate it in a way like, I did this is what I've done. I don't do that no more. I mean, women do it all the time. Black women do it all the time. You're hearing them talking about something. Oh, I had a girlfriend for like 4 or 5, 6 years, and or I played around with a girl for 3 years, and all of a sudden, then you get a man to get pregnant. You're like, oh, but I don't do that no more. They don't get backlash for it.
Yeah.
Like they don't like nobody says anything to them. It's like, oh well, you a woman, you could do that. Oh, okay. So why can't a man do that?
Like for women, it's sexualized. I feel like it's like when you have feminine and feminine, it's sexy. Then you have feminine and masculine, it's normal. Then you have masculine and masculine, then it's like, whoa, 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 what are y'all doing? It's like, what? Like, who made the formula? Who is saying who wrote the rule book on that shit? Because it's like, because it is like it's crazy because like I'll see, and I have seen threads on my timeline with black women will bash like, oh, like, I'll never date a bisexual man, or I would never do this, whatever. Like I'll be damn if nigga go fuck a nigga and then come fuck me. Da, 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 da. But yeah, you were with Jessica, got your pussy ate while y'all was in Miami, and then go up to fuck your boyfriend. You know what I'm saying? Like that's okay though. That's okay because she just ate your pussy though. That's cool.
Right.
You
It
understand?
wasn't nothing. She just gave me head. It's just like, ain't this like a form of fucking for y'all? Just want to know.
Yeah. But like I said, this is a double standard there. And it's crazy because those same black women, right, who would bash, bisexual black men, DL black men, whatever cases, will be the same ones to be like, oh, we don't, we're not protected, we're not this and that, whatever. Like, and I do, and I guess, and I'm not saying that they're wrong for saying that because they're not. I don't feel like they're protected as they should. I love my black women. I feel like we need to protect them, but don't ask for protection for the people that you throw mud on. You know what I'm saying? Because
Exactly.
think about it, the people who really be looking out for y'all black women are the LGBT ones. You feel me? But yeah, you want to bash them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Talking about these fags, and you trying to beat us and you can't beat us. I'm all woman, and it's just like, nobody said all of that. But I mean, if that's what you feel, I mean that's what you feel. I just don't feel that for you. But yeah, you know, I digress and just keep it moving because I have to just, like I said, when black people be doing stuff, and that can be men, women, I have to look at them like twice, shake my head and be like, okay, that's what's up. Cause you gonna need me. And I'm gonna have to second guess if I want to save your ass.
I'll
Woo.
say there
Like,
was one, two. Okay, all right.
like
Like, I don't age saying some shit the other day, but me my
don't call me when you need to change your fashion. Okay. Don't call me
when you need to
when you
lose
need
income,
that wig done.
when you need
Okay.
when you need that wig laid to the gods. You feel me?
That part. Don't call me. We talk about something. I think I'm gonna go and get a little bow today. Would you want to come in? I get some Botox. Get some jigs. I'm like, sorry, I'm not available. I'm gonna go play with Ken.
That part.
I'm gonna go play with Ken. But have a good the rest of your day, and I'll see you when I see you. So it's just that's why I'm like, they just gotta pick a side. They gotta do something.
And it's tough because like and it's another point I want to touch on, like with the support of each other, right? I love the fact that we try to unify. Don't get me wrong. I love the fact that we protest. You know, we're adamant, we're passionate about what we do, right?
Right.
But not like is that when those protests and those rallies are over, we're back to hating each other. Like that's what gets me. So why doesn't it's like, do we only rally up just for show and then be like, all right, fuck you the next day? Because it's wild, because during that whole time, like, you know, being in the pandemic, you know, when, you know, they were starting to kill Black people and all this, whatever the case, like not starting to, but like killing more Black people, like, you know, with the whole
like it was able to be seen and televised, right, and it was on camera.
Every week they were killing a new Black person, whatever the case is. We were furious. Now, but in my hood, in Dorchester, I was hearing gunshots. I was seeing on the news people getting shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're talking about Black Lives Matter. Stop killing us, but we killing each other. What message does that send to people we ask them to respect our lives? If y'all don't give a fuck, we don't give a fuck. As fucked up as it may seem, and doesn't necessarily mean that thought process is right, I could understand how somebody can come to that conclusion. If y'all don't give a fuck, what makes you think I want to give a fuck? You feel me? If anything, I'm helping y'all out because this is what y'all do, right? And it hurts to say, but this is a lot of times, like, and I feel like sometimes Black people we as a people will sometimes support things to a fault. Like we'll support it because we don't want to be wrong, but won't address the issues that are going on within the community. So it's like we ignore it. It's like now, like, because I feel like we think if we address those issues, then it takes away power from our point. But that's not the case. We're like, yes, we're not perfect. Yes, we have changed. That does not mean that our lives mean any less. So I mean, things like that, that would be more of a better way to approach it. You feel me? But I feel like sometimes people will be like, oh, you know, y'all are just doing this, whatever. Like, yes, white cops are killing us at a very disproportionate rate. Yes, that is very true. But are we also not killing each other at a very disproportionate rate as well? Why can't we start not doing that? Like, why is it that a white man can run in Dorchester and feel like he's peachy keen, but I walk in Dorchester past 11 o'clock and I'm just like, I'm on my P's and Q's like, yo, if somebody walk up the wrong way, I'm swinging because another hood or whatever case. Like, why is it that I feel like white people feel safe around my people than I feel around my people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I should feel, because you're my brother, you're Black, we love each other. I shouldn't feel like you mean me any harm. I should be able to walk by you, you know, look at you and be like, yo, what's good, my brother, without you thinking like, who this nigga? What hood you from? You don't worry about that. I'm Black. I'm your brother. I love you. Just keep it push. You feel me?
Exactly.
Why can't it be that way? But
I mean, because it's like that. Because the way I see it, like the way I was growing up, how I looked at it is, you know, the cops hated me and Black people hated me, so I had to make sure I was protected all the way around. So it was just like I wasn't dealing with nobody. If I was walking through a neighborhood, look, where I come from, I was taught to stay strapped, and anybody can get it. Like, that's just what it was. So it was just like, you don't like me, I don't like you, and that's just how I have to move. And it sucks because, like, you know, like you said, like, if, you know, you Black, I'm Black, like, you're supposed to be my brother or my sister, whatever, like, I should feel comfortable. I should feel like I'm safe if I'm walking past you. But the fact, like, if some shit go down, I won't feel safe. Like, it's been in situations like I've seen, I hear people's stories, like something be happen to them, and, you know, you will have eyes or somebody will see something, and normally it will be the Black person that sees some shit and be like, oh, come on, baby, close your eyes. It ain't none of your business. What do you mean not none of your business? So you just gonna let what's happening to me happen to me? What if these people kill me? So you're not gonna stop it?
right.
Like, it's just, you don't give a fuck. And that shit is just crazy, especially, like I said, in the times that we live in now. If somebody fighting or some shit happen, people are quick to pull out their phones, and now everybody want to record. Are you gonna stop it from happening?
Yeah.
When are we gonna stop things that shouldn't escalate to where it's escalating to, or when we just gonna like, hey, we should not be doing this, and not even just as people, but as just in general, like, this is not good. You already know how the police feel about us. Y'all start knucking and bucking, the police come out here, like, everybody could probably get killed. You don't know that.
And to that point, I agree, because think about this. Back when I was in high school, even college, right? You know what was popular? World Star.
Okay.
showing their ass, and all these things, whatever. And we glorify this shit. You see it, yo. You see this motherfucker getting his ass beat. Why are we glorifying this black brother beating up this other black brother? Why we glorifying kings fighting each other? Why we glorifying queens ripping each other's hair out and smashing each other on the floor, doing all this shit? Why are we glorifying that? You know what the videos I like to see? I saw a video a couple years back where this young man or young woman, whatever, like I guess he was like third generation, whatever, like of like some type of college, ended up getting in full scholarship. Like he was a reaction video. He's looking at it, whatever, got his letter, you know what I'm saying? And then he said he got accepted. That's the shit I want to see. That's the shit that brings that's the shit that gets me happy. I'm like, black excellence. So if I see memes, right, you'd be like, oh, graduating class of like Harvard or something like that, then you'll see all black doctors. I'm like, yes, that's the shit I want to see. Not somebody, not somebody getting slept because like, they was in the wrong hood or they was talking shit. Like, I don't want to see that shit. Like, I'm tired of seeing that shit. That shit aggravates the fuck out of me. When people glorify that shit, I be looking at them sideways like, what is, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is you really on? Like, why is this entertaining? Like, what you saying?
Exactly. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with your mental?
So I just feel like, like we can go on for days about what we need to do better as a people. But I feel like the first thing we need to do is stop hating on each other. That crab in a barrel mentality is killing us physically and mentally, and spiritually. Like that shit is killing us as a people. And
it definitely is.
Sooner we start to realize that, like, I personally have this mentality, like, yo, if you're black, I automatically feel more comfortable around you. You know what I'm saying? But because it's like, sometimes I have to like take that back. I was like, I see black people, I'm like, oh, I get comfortable. Then I realize, wait. I'm also in a certain area. So let me take that back real quick. It shouldn't be that way. I should see my people be like, oh, hey, you think white people walk around in certain neighborhoods, be like, oh, I don't know if these are the good whites or the bad whites. No, because it's like they're white, I'm good. That's how we should be feeling in our own neighborhoods. If you're black, I'm black, I should be good.
Exactly.
Like, if anybody should be looked at funny, it's the people who seem like they don't belong. You know what I'm saying? But like, I'm not really one to hate on anybody for whatever the case is. But like if you're gonna hate on anybody, don't hate on your own. Come on now.
Exactly.
Man.
What's the? Oh, child, I don't know. What's that about?
But it's like I said, there's a lot of self-hate in the black community, whether it's colorism, where people think they're too dark, then you feel me, they're too dark, too light, not dark enough, not light enough, hair too short, hair too nappy, hair too straight, hair, you know what I'm saying? Like it's there's so much that we put on ourselves added on to what society really puts on us. You feel me? And like that shit does something to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not something like some people like, like, you can ignore it. You can say that you ignore it, but subconsciously and just, like throughout your life, like certain things just, happen as they were structured to be, And
exactly.
There's a book, I think it was like, I forgot who wrote it, and I don't want to misquote, but there was a book, basically, it was like titled, like, How to Keep the Black Man Enslaved Up to 200 Years After Slavery Has Ended. And there's tactics in there, basically like, yo, if you dismantle the family, you take the fathers out the home, or whatever the case is, it makes them more susceptible to this, that, other thing. And like the shit that they were saying in this book, I'm like, yo, this is actually, like, they're like, yo, we had a playbook. Here's the playbook. Y'all still ain't gonna do shit about it. Like, as prideful as we are as black people, we let that shit rock. That's wild, and we're still following that religion. Like, how many black people, grandmothers do you know still serve a white Jesus? Still have that white Jesus in their kitchen up there, just proud. That's my Jesus. That's my God. That's not your God. That ain't never been your God.
Especially if you're white.
Exactly. That God was given to you. You feel me? And it's just it's that. I'm trying to think of the word. I low-key feel it's brainwashing.
No.
I can't think of anything. I feel
that's
like
what it is.
Years of people have been brainwashed, and we have to do our damnness to actively try to work our way out of that, because we know what they're doing. They have a playbook, but yet we're just like, oh, no, we're good because we thug shit out, right? Like, we just push through. Fuck the mental illness, so that we just push through shit. But that's not the answer.
Exactly. Definitely not the answer. And with that being said, as we always like to go to, I always like to play my good game. Tea and hot chocolate.
Good to me.
I like to have some fun, it's cool or whatever. So Tea and Hot Chocolate is for the folks that are watching. If you never played this game or never understood this game, however, so gonna ask a couple of questions. If you feel like it's factual, like it's tea, it's hot popping tea. That's what you would say. If you like to give an explanation, you can. You know, so if I ask the question and you feel like it's hot chocolate, like it's just a shitty mess, oh shitty mess. You just say that that's what it is, and explain, not explain. We just kind of go from there. But like I said, just a few questions. And these are just like random questions. It's not like I usually like what ads based on the topic at hand or whatever. But like I just kind of switch it up because I'm just like, yeah, like just random throw some shit out there. Just. So tea and hot chocolate, right? Would black gay people ever stop fighting each other?
Yeah, it don't be a curveball first question. Like you said, warm me up a little bit.
That was the warm up.
I'm gonna say T, and a reason for that is because I do feel like it's gonna take work, because I do feel like, especially in the gay black community, there's a lot of animosity, and that I think that also stems from the same thing, where where just black people have gone through that systematic racism and the slavery and all that, whatever. Gay people have also gone through their struggles. So in my, I mean, being bisexual, I haven't always been part of the LGBT community, but getting into it, I've heard some stories about the struggle, and it makes sense. A lot of the times, one of the reasons why there's a lot of people being catty and there's a lot of like aggression, whatever, is because when you're taught to survive and not thrive, you tend to work. That's how you function on survivability. It's like, I can't. If you win, that means then I don't win. It means I don't eat. So I got to make sure you don't eat so I can eat, but it shouldn't be that way because there's enough food for everybody.
Boom. That's definitely right. You're absolutely right. Because we can all sit at the table. Now, depending on what end you can sit at the table. Right.
That's at the end. It'd be like, knock.
Like,
Exactly,
that part. So, next question. Tea and hot chocolate. Greatest rappers of the 90s era generation. You got some Nas, Busta Rhymes, some LL Cool J.
Is that I grew up in the 90s. I'm an actual 1990s baby. You feel me? So what I grew up with the reruns of the 80s and the freshness of the 90s. And people like the ones we named, like Nas and Busta Rhymes, whatever, like, even if you're not looking for it, those men are a part of your life, if you grew up during that era. So right. Just by their sheer influence, whether you like their music or not, yes, I would say that they were some of the greatest rappers of that generation.
They definitely was. Child.
Busta Rhymes, like,
they all had bangers. Got you all in check.
look at the love DMX is getting right now. When's the last song you heard from DMX? But when DMX got sick, everybody, then we gon' rock, then we gon'
rock.
Yeah, you feel me?
Go, let it go. Look, I got all his music.
A warming to see your heart. That nostalgia is real, and these men are the reason for that nostalgia. So yes, I give them the credit. They deserve their roses before they die.
That too, and definitely want to say, rest in peace to DMX. He will always be X father, dog father, like just like Snoop Dogg, because they both like dogs and pit bulls and shit. But like, damn, he would definitely be missed. But his music is gonna last long and forever. But like he made a great body of work, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna be bumping him in next eons and weeks to come, especially today, especially on this day of what happened. Sending condolences out to his his family, his friends, close ones, and loved ones and stuff like that. But damn it, man, and he died young too. Like 50 is young. 50 is definitely young. But last and final question to Tea and Hot Chocolate. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Who your favorite basketball team? The Lakers or the 76ers?
It's just those two?
Just those two. That's all I got for you.
I'm gonna say the Lakers, you know what I'm saying? This is my guy. So I mean, although it is West Coast, I'm gonna have to go, and I'm in Philly right now. I'm gonna have to go with the Lakers. I'm sorry.
Come on, Lakers, because I like the whole Shaq and Kobe era. I didn't really get into sports, but when I would see them play. And even though I'm from Detroit, so I try to root for the Pistons. I love me some Scottie Pippen and all of them. But if I had to watch a game, it would definitely be the Lakers with Shaq and Kobe.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Definitely would be. So this has been amazing. We have blessed. Yes.
First legit interview, so I fuck with it. It's a great experience.
When I tell you we got the recording going on, we got the live. I don't know how the live turned out, y'all. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. It's been some technical difficulties back here. But when I'm like the camera person, I'm the audio person. I'm the I gotta look. It's just me. It don't matter. It's just me. But I made it work. So you got you want to say anything else you want to say to the people, social media handles, all of that stuff, where they can find you, what projects you got coming up, working on, if you want to let the folks know what's happening, what's going on.
I'm starting off, getting this whole entertainment industry. By entertainment, I mean legitimate entertainment, so music and acting and modeling, things like that. But they're coming soon. I have my professional IG page is my first name, Mark, MARK, _ Myrthil, MYRTHIL 90. And that's my professional page. It has it hasn't had much up there yet, but that's where my modeling, my videos will go and things like that. I have music that is under wraps right now.
Okay.
I'm this summer, so watch out for that. And, just a message for the people. The one thing I want to say to the Black community is, honestly, the number one thing that the number one things plural that we could do, that we need to do right now, is just communication, understanding, and healing. Once we start there, if Black people had the same type of camaraderie and unity as they say the Asian community, we would run this bit.
Okay. Going to school 7 days a week.
I'm so glad I'm out of it, so I'll condone that. I'm like, 7 days a week, I ain't in that bitch no more.
I ain't in there, but I'm just saying that our brain process to be a lot stronger. We'll be up on it, and we'll definitely be good, especially for the Black people that be like, I don't like math because I don't like to count money. I'm like, you're dealing with math in your everyday life, and it's not even the shape of money questions. It's pretty much like problem solving.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. But how I say, guys, if you can't kiki with your Judies, then who can you kiki with? I definitely want to thank everybody for tuning in on this live, for whoever's seen. I'm sorry if I couldn't get or see any comments, child, because stuff started just messing up because I had too many things going on. But I'll test that out later. For all my folks that are watching, especially on YouTube, when you see this video, please, if you like any content that I post or anything that you see that you love, please make sure that you like, subscribe, and share. Also make sure you hit the notification bell just to also keep up with anything that I post or any updates, any videos that are coming up, or any other little things, because yes, I do love my podcast, Singly Gay, and that's the only thing that I'm running, but I do also have little different things that I will be inserting and doing on there, because I also shout out, I got another show going on. It's the game show for Facebook Live, but I'm gonna just make it out to other platforms. It's called Fun in the 90s. So if you are a person that know your 90s trivia and you are good at what you do and you got a good memory about everything from styles to haircuts to TV shows, music, maybe that show is definitely for you. So please make sure y'all stay tuned and check me out. And thank you for watching Singly Gay Podcast with my guest, Mr. Mark Myrthil, Mr. Smoov, as they call him. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and make sure you have a good night.
Good night, y'all.
Good night.